The experience of sitting down at a table with a glass of wine and with friends and with food, that to me is the reason I'm in this business. When I was a kid, my father used to lean over the table to me with a glass of wine and explain that this is what he wanted to do with his life. And Pinot Noir would become the wine of the future. We started off as growers. We started with a 15-acre parcel of land in the Carneros, and the whole idea was to pursue Pinot Noir. We had a vineyard that was shutting down early, and in exploring that, we tried to get a shovel into the ground, and we couldn't move the soil. And we found that there was no microbial activity. There was basically, we'd sterilize the soil through the use of herbicides. And I just said off the cuff, wouldn't it be cool if we were organic? And so we began very slowly working with the biodynamic principles to revitalize this vineyard. We started doing reserve level wines out of it. It was just night and day, and to the point where I was able to convince my father, the scientist, that organics and biodynamics made sense when it came to wine. And then we converted the entire operation to it. When we first planted Bordeaux varieties in the Carneros, everybody said we were crazy, that it would never ripen there, and that we were planting the complete wrong variety for the location. And then when we started making this style of wine out of Napa Valley, we figured we were aliens, and Marcian is ancient French for Martian. We ended up working with aromatic varieties of working with Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, Riesling, Gewürztraminer. We make a wine that we call Abraxas, which is a vin de terroir, which is a blend of 4 grapes, Pinot Gris, Riesling, Gewürztraminer, and Pinot Blanc. The idea is that the blend changes with every vintage, so instead of doing chemical manipulation of a wine, we just do a varietal manipulation. We just create the perfect wine for the vintage. White wine, it's much more susceptible to the cork in the sense of imparting foreign flavors, showing if there's any kind of corkiness and such. So we've gone to glass caps, and boom, that's it. It's a really beautiful seal, and again, you have nothing synthetic coming in contact with the wine. To me, it's a much more neutral, pretty elegant way of sealing a wine than a screw cap. But in the French version of Pinot Gris versus the Italian Pinot Grigio, has more of a pear and almond note to it, which is really quite pretty. And it takes on quite a bit of complexity as it ages. But it's also a wonderfully non-cerebral wine to enjoy when it's young. It goes with just a broad array of cuisine. Ideally, you should have local products that are working with the local wines. We grow the figs, my wife does the gougères, the cheeses are coming from just over the hill. We choose a path where we don't send wine out for review. So our wines have not been reviewed by the major critics since the 80s. Why should we subordinate ourselves to a critic and all start creating the same style of wine? And we're just seeing what really the wine wants, not what we want, because if we're imposing our will on it, then we're just creating another manufactured product. My father just turned 88, and when he can raise a glass and be proud of seeing his vision come to fruition, I don't think he could be more proud.